Hello, everybody. It's your boy Proftrof, and we're back again with another major kill video. This is the Celestial Alliance explained by an Australian Warhammer 40k lore. Okay, so the thumbnail for this is they fought against the Inquisition and they lost. Interesting.
Wrong, they aren't the only nice guys to get cucked. Q, and everyone, g'day guys and gal. Everyone always says that the Lamenters have it the worst. After all, they are cursed. And whilst you aren't entirely wrong, they aren't the only nice guys to get cucked. Q, the Celestial Lions. There are three things that the Warhammer 40k universe doesn't tolerate: common sense, nobility, and explicit mentions of sexual activity. The Celestial Lions
Common sense
fit into the category of nobility, and whilst you would think that their lack of common sense would counterbalance the scale, it does not. After all, these are the guys who try to issue a formal complaint to the High Lords of Terror about the Inquisition.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they went about as well as can be expected. If you aren't a Space Wolf or a Dark Angel, don't mess with the Inquisition. Before we get started, there are 10 days until the end of the year. There is also coincidentally 4,000 subscribers required to hit 150,000. Now, I don't do what I do to get internet validation
Hey,
points. Yes, you do.
buddy. Congratulations.
Not now, Timmy! But goal setting is a pretty healthy activity to partake in, and 150k is the goal.
Nice.
So it's a challenge to you guys. If you crack a laugh or learn something new today, then consider chucking me your subscription. As I said before, if we do hit that goal, then I'll commission real-life live-action hentai. Yes, that's a thing.
What?
Or if we do hit that goal, then I'll commission real-life live-action hentai. Yes, that's a thing because I said so. Today we'll go over the rise and tragic fall of the Celestial Lions. This should also double as a tale of why the arseholes of 40k always seem to rise to the top. Let's get into it. Whilst the Emperor only created 20 legions of Space Marines in his original vision for the Astartes, Horus being a bold piece of shit and declaring jihad on the galaxy meant that for health and safety reasons, those legions had to be broken down into various 1,000 man strong chapters. You know, unless you're a Space Wolf or a Black Templar who continue to cosplay as huge legions. Since then, the amount of Space Marine chapters in the Imperium has exploded in size, with there now being over 1,000 chapters, each chapter a descendant of one of the original 20 legions. Some chapters are more or less just recolors of their original legion. Other chapters look completely mangled and nothing like their ancestors, generally because some idiot tried to mess with the gene seed, or they mixed the gene seed in with traitor gene seed, which, while that sounds like a terrible idea, actually has created some of the most powerful and loyal chapters in the galaxy. Looking at you, Space Sharks. Fortunately for the select powerful
Space Shark
and loyal chapters in the galaxy, looking at you,
Wow,
Space Sharks.
interesting.
Fortunately for the Celestial Lions, the lion part of their name is more symbolic, so they don't have tails or manes or any other fairy shit. They are a descendant of the Imperial Fists, founded around the 38th millennium and inherited a lot of their ancestors' traits, a big one that they have a strong sense of duty and doing what is right. Plus they have a really cool colour scheme that reminds me of the Stormcast Eternals from Age of Sigmar. The Celestial Lions were off being good guys and doing their thing, including but not limited to safeguarding a volatile section of space called the Veil, making friends with two other ill-fated Space Marine chapters, and spending unreasonably long amounts of time polishing their golden armour. This all changed when the Fire Nation attacked, when the Inquisition was like, yo Goldie Paws, we have a planet which is having heretical uprisings, get your ass over here. And the Celestial Lions were happy to come give them a hand because, you know, it's their job. The issue arises, however, when you compare different people's perspective of what a heretic is. The planet was sick of the Imperium, and there was some chaotic influence, but it more just seemed like they wanted a more democratic process. The planet was pretty much Hong Kong, and the Imperium was China. Anywho, the Celestial Lions landed on the planet and proceeded to obliterate any resistance they encountered, suffering only minor casualties and pacifying the planet in a matter of weeks. Any hope the planet had of removing Carrie Lam had been crushed, and the planet accepted this and knew their place. And then everyone shook hands and called it a day. Fucking psych!
The Inquisition wanted to blow it up, didn't they? The Inquisition always wants to blow up the planets.
The Inquisition did an assessment of the planet and deemed that the taint of chaos had been removed, but you can never be too safe. Hence the planet was exterminatus
fucking code it.
and all 8 billion people live.
God damn it, Inquisition. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Stop blowing up planets. I remember when I watched one of those first videos of Warhammer 40k and they were like, okay, the Inquisition can blow up planets, but they don't do it that often. And after that I started watching more Warhammer 40k lores videos, right? As y'all can see on the channel. And it's like, oh, the Inquisition blew up this planet, this planet, this planet, this planet, and a couple more hundreds of thousands of planets. And I'm like, huh, I think I was deceived.
Living there were purged as a result of this. The Celestial Lions were like, bruh, and try to stop the Exterminatus because A, by blowing up the planet, all the time, effort and life that the Lions had sacrificed for the campaign was all wasted, and B, don't fucking blow up planets because you feel like it. Unfortunately for the Lions, however, the Inquisition doesn't really give a fuck about your feelings, hence the Exterminatus was completed. Now, unlike the Space Wolves, the Lions didn't have the balls to just straight up attack the Inquisition to
If they just attacked the Inquisition, it probably would have went way better for them than going to the Terra Overlord Hive people.
save the planet. So instead they began to write strongly worded letters about how hurt their feelings were. They refused to work with the Inquisition, and they even asked Santa to put them on his naughty list. At first the Inquisition was like, whatever bro, but then Christmas came and all they got was coal in their stockings, so they decided to act. Now, a lot of the misfortunes that the Celestial Lions experience from here on has not been explicitly stated to be the work of the Inquisition, but it's heavily implied it is, and for the sake of good content, I'm just going to say that everything from here out was the Inquisition's fault. When the Celestial Lions letter to the Emperor about how mean the Inquisition is never got a response, they sent a team of their best delegates to Terra, except that they never made it. The ship was found destroyed deep in Orc territory. People just said it was an unlucky warp storm, but people also occasionally put light bulbs up their rectums for pleasure, hence people cannot be trusted. It was 100% the Inquisition that did that to them. Now, the autistic nature of Astartes means that this hint by the Inquisition to stop complaining about them was not picked up, hence the Lions continued their crusade. They did this until they were summoned for the Third War for Armageddon, a massive planet-wide war on a world that I don't even feel bad for considering how aggressively it is named. Calling a planet Armageddon, then expecting the Orcs not to attack it is like dressing up the choir boys in latex and then expecting them not to get PTSD from the local priest. It's just a poor call. The Lions deployed their entire chapter to this conflict, alongside 24 other Space Marine chapters, and a shitload of cannon fodder, guardsmen. However, within 3 months of pretty standard combat, their casualty rate was extremely high, like way higher than any other chapter in the conflict. You would have thought that the death corps of Krieg had been deployed instead of our good golden boys, but no. This wasn't to say that the Celestial Lions were bad at war, they were actually really good, but they always seemed to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Orcs always seemed to deploy in way higher numbers with way more discipline against the Lions as opposed to everyone else. To make matters worse, the Celestial Lions were targeted by the only regiment of elite Orc snipers in the entire galaxy.
Elite Orc snipers. I don't think those words are supposed to go together. I want to see what an elite Orc sniper looks like.
Unlucky. In reality, this was the Inquisition's work, through unknown means, likely by just riling up some of the war bosses. They were able to bait a lot of the Orcs towards the Lions, and the Orc snipers were more or less just a couple of Vindicare assassins painted green.
Oh.
To make matters even worse, all their intel was dodgy. They would go into a mission expecting to reinforce a couple dozen guardsmen against a couple hundred Orcs, only to arrive to an Orc rally point for their best warriors numbering in the thousands. Or they would protect a convoy that was travelling in a pacified safe area, only for a garguant to appear and wreck their tits.
A what?
Nothing added up.
Garguant?
They received orders very slowly, if at all. Once they begun to rely on their own scouting equipment, because all the intel was dog shit, that begun to fail as well. Hence they sent out their own scouts, who ended up just vanishing or popping up later dead. They begun to have some success by using their camera feeds for their own ships in orbit, but then their ships started getting raped for no clear reason. One of their main ships was unable to receive orders regarding a Black Templar spearhead attack due to some shenanigans, hence fell out of formation and was destroyed. To the Lions' credit, despite all of this, they put in a bloody good shift and suffered an amazingly small amount of casualties despite what they'd been through. By small, I mean they had lost half their chapter, but that's actually quite a good effort considering. Then, shit went south. I mean, shit was already...
How much souther can we go, bro? We're on the southernmost point of the earth. What the fuck?
south, but I mean like shit went to Antarctica, was frozen, then violated by some emperor penguins on meth kinda south. The Lions were told of an orc construction yard where they were building gargants located in the Manheim Gap. This operation had to be destroyed, otherwise the orcs' gargant force would be able to wipe out the nearby city. The Lions were a bit like, because of how poorly things had been going, but after doing their own recon, decided that the intel was good for once and that they would go. The Lions pulled off a masterclass attack, extremely well coordinated and efficient, and the operation would have been an amazing success, if it wasn't for the Inquisition. See, the Inquisition, in their spite, told the orcs of the attack before it happened.
Okay, I have a question. How does that happen? I cannot imagine an Inquisition to be like going up to a fucking orc and be like, hey bro, what's up? I'm a green boy. Yeah, I can get attacked by some golden lion motherfuckers in a little bit, okay? Keep that in mind, okay? I'm gonna go over there. See ya.
Hence, as the Celestial Lines were attacking, all of the gargants that were supposed to be unfinished and inoperable suddenly sprung to life as thousands of orcs emerged from dozens of hiding places to ambush. To make it even worse, those pesky orc snipers with their high caliber Imperial snipers as well as their extreme accuracy and ability to target Celestial Line commanders had returned and were mowing down our golden boys.
Fucking
the
orc
Lions tried to
snipers.
retreat, but by the time they got out, only 100 or so were left alive. Their highest ranking member was Iken Dubaku, and he was just a sergeant. To make matters worse, the only surviving apothecary from the battle, aka the only one that knew how to work with gene seed, was then assassinated by the Inquisition the following day. They then sent out one of their brothers to put out a call to the Black Templars, not for help or salvation, but just to tell them that the Inquisition was still massive assholes and that orc snipers are bullshit. Grimaldus, the legendary hero of Hell's Reach, found said brother dead in his Thunderhawk. His ship never made it, but the message was on a hologram that Grimaldus watched.
Ooh.
Grimaldus was like...
Oh, this dude looks fucking insane. I gotta be honest, Joe. This dude looks like he looks like he fucked some ass, okay?
Fuck, and travelled to where the last remaining Lions were preparing to attack the Manheim Gap once again, so they could die alongside their brothers in a glorious last stand. Grimaldus wasn't super down with this idea because it would be a bit of a waste, and he would prefer that the Celestial Lions retreated back home and rebuilt their chapter. Dubaku was like, "Nana bro, gonna last stand it."
Oh. Why did you do the accent, Major?
Dubaku was like, "Nana bro, gonna last stand it." It's actually pretty ironic that Grimaldus, a Black Templar, would be the one who was trying to be reasonable here. Like sure, last stands are epic, but the Imperium needed every last chapter if it was going to survive.
Well, maybe tell that to the fucking Inquisition. I also heard that the Imperium needs all the resources it can get, but then again, we are like, hey, exterminate that planet, and that one over there, okay?
Grimaldus realized that the Lions were going to last stand it no matter what, so he summoned the Steel Legion, a bunch of badass guardsmen from Hell's Reach to help him fight alongside the Lions. Grimaldus, the Steel Legion, and the last of the Lions charged Manheim Gap, this time against unsuspecting but still very numerous orcs. It was an absolute meat grinder as thousands died by the minute. Eventually Grimaldus came face to face with the massive OP war boss, as Grimaldus basically had a massive flag which said, "I'm better than you, come at me you big green bitch." The two fought, and whilst Grimaldus' plot armor was great, he was eventually knocked to the ground. At that moment, Dubaku appeared and was like, "Rawr," and told Grimaldus to stop trying to steal his kill. And Dubaku and the war boss fought each other, and to his credit, Dubaku did a really good job, but soon had his arm torn off and his leg sliced off as well, knocking him to the ground, obviously. Grimaldus jumped on the war boss's back and started choking it with a chain, pretty much exactly like that scene from Goblin Slayer. No, not the rape one, the one where he chokes that big ass goblin with that hair, except this time it was chains. The war boss still refused to die despite the immense pressure on its neck, until Dubaku fired a final shot from his bolter pistol at its throat. The pressure released and the war boss's head exploded off its shoulders. During this, the Steel Legion had managed to blow up the Orcs' Void Shield, hence allowing Black Templar reinforcements to drop in and finish the battle for the Imperium. The Buckle survived and received a number of bionics, as well as praise and honour from the leader of the Black Templars, Lord Helbrecht. He had really done Dawn proud that day, as he jumped into a strike cruiser with the last handful of his men and set a course for home, to rebuild their chapter.
Did they get blown up? Did they get blown up on their way home?
And they all lived happily ever after.
No, they didn't, did they?
Except they fucking didn't, as then the Great Rift opened and a huge Chaos army attacked their home planet. At this point, I'm suspicious that the Inquisition was behind the fall of Cadia, purely so they could fuck with the Lions. The Lions evacuated what people and what warriors they could before their planet fell. The Buckle reached out to the Emperor's Spears and was like, "Yo, can we share your home planet?" But before a deal could be struck, a Chaldeus assassin sent by the Inquisition jumped out and cut off Dubaku's head, killing him and the Lions' last hope and pretty much pissing on their grave. But Major Kill, what about Primaris Lions? Shut the fuck up, Timmy. If you think the Lions are getting some kind of happy ending, then you obviously haven't been paying attention. The ship carrying the Celestial Lions Primaris reinforcements and Gene Seed was sabotaged and lost by the Inquisition. Hence the Emperor's Spears have shared how to make Primaris with the 30 or so Lions that are still kicking. Not that they will be kicking for much longer, but GW made sure to allow some kind of lore loophole for people wanting to play with Primaris Celestial Lions. The Celestial Lions are a good example of what happens if you try play against the fundamental rules of Warhammer 40k. You cannot be 100%.
No, they fucked it up. They should have just killed the Inquisition the first time or fought them. Then they probably would have been okay. Like the Space Wolves and those other cunts. But they went pussy. They pussied out.
100% noble and pure, just like you can't use common sense. It's like a universal negative response if you try to take the grimdark out of the setting. In saying that though, I really like their story and how the Inquisition doesn't take shit from anyone, other than Logan Grimnar. But I'm pretty sure Khorne would take shit from Logan Grimnar if he was faced with that situation.
Jesus.
And that does us for today, guys. The lore and story of the Celestial Lions, and why putting rich and powerful people on Santa's naughty list is a dangerous game to play. If you enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where only $1 per month gives you access to a boatload of Warhammer hentai. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more noble content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Hey, this video was fucking awesome. So the Lions are basically fucked. Anyway, a quick thank you to my patrons: Pedro Martinez, Commander of the Skull Unit, Rob Berry, and Prince Zeta. Okay, thank you all. Yeah, this video was fucking awesome. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Fuck the Inquisition, okay? Fuck the Inquisition. I gotta be honest, like, I didn't see, like, I knew about the assassins, like those cool ass assassins, but besides that one Tau special royal cunt, I've not seen the assassins kill much else, except Space Marines, I guess. It's kinda, you know, counterintuitive, you know. One of the best assassins in the universe, and they mostly kill their own people. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a nice fucking day.